All right, welcome, welcome. I'm just gonna get us all set up here first. Put my name here so you know who I am. All right. Hey, everybody. So my name is Sean, and I'm here today to talk all about working on set. But first, it takes sometimes a little bit for people to get in. It's okay. It takes a second. Um, The way that it works is if you have anything you want to ask me or say hi, you can say hi in the Q&A button. Okay. First off, I'm Sean. I am zooming in from Brooklyn, New York, New York City. If you want to let me know, say hi and say your name and where you're zooming in from, it's a way for us to get to know each other a little bit and sometimes see people that are coming back. Hey Kai, what's up? I'm happy you're back. Uh, Sharon, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to have you here. Good morning, Steve. Welcome back. Hey, Kimberly. And we have Devin from Coquitlam, Canada. I hope I said that correctly. That's a cool name. Um, Oh, also, I guess there's chat, so I'll look in there too. And we have Ben, also from Canada, from Calgary in Alberta. Welcome. And Sharon is here. Welcome. We have Ryan from Bonito, California. Welcome, Ryan. And we have Robert from Atlanta. We have Erica from Georgia. I don't know if in Atlanta as well, but Georgia. And we got Rob coming from Miami, Florida. All right, must be very hot there. It's hot here. We have Rhonda from Nebraska. Welcome. We have Ashley. I'm doing well. Thank you. Hope you're doing well. From North Carolina. Awesome. Close enough. It's native Canadian. Yeah, I grew up in Vermont and right on the border of Quebec. So we have a lot of towns like the river and my community and across the street from where I grew up is called Missisquoi, and that was the name of my high school. So I understand. We have Jay coming in here. Welcome. We have Atwayne from Louisville. All right. I worked the Kentucky Derby last year. It was a lot of fun. We have Jason from Lake Charles, Louisiana. One of my good friends grew up in Lake Charles. I think it's a fun place. I haven't visited, but I have friends that live just across the border in Texas. So different state, same bayou. I cannot see anyone. So just know, Joseph, that it's just me. You just see me. I can only see what you wrote me. Joanne is from Canton, Georgia, another Georgia today. We've got Leslie, close to Houston. All right. And we've got someone from North Carolina is a Zoom user. And Alexa is from New Jersey, my neighbor. We've got Tanya from Toronto in Canada. Welcome. It's 85 and sunny in Miami. Good to hear. And Denise from Rhode Island, I'm glad to be back with you. And I'm glad I haven't seen you. It's because you're busy. And I love to hear that. I love hearing all of the people from 99 who are working because it's so nice to see. And Leslie, you were born in Brattleboro. All right. That's in this very southern part of Vermont. I'm from the opposite side, but Brattleboro is gorgeous. Now I'm going to look at the Q&A. Let me just see. We've got PJ from Michigan. What's up with you? Antoine's here. First time for Perry. Welcome. I'm so happy that you're here for your first workshop, and I hope it's a good one. I do several of these, usually throughout the year, several a month usually. Marilyn from Vancouver. All right. I've got Alexa from, you don't have to sign in. It's okay. Like these are not mandatory. These are all for you to come. If you have to leave early, it's okay. You don't have to let me know. These are all going to be, this is being recorded so that um, you can watch these later too, you know? We've got Perry from Sheboygan, Michigan. Tanya's from Canada. We've got Michael from LA, and it's your second one. Welcome. You came back. Kimberly is from Canada, Ottawa. Freya, welcome back, Freya from Indiana, and Jay's from Rockwell, or Jay Rockwell is in NYC. All right, we've got another New Yorker here. I am doing well. I hope you're doing well, Perry. And Panama City, Florida. Panama City, Florida is beautiful. I visited there when I was younger. I had a great vacation. Um, it's okay. You don't have to sign in. You can add it to your account if you want to for attending. I'm not sure how that works. You can add it as a session. You can do whatever you want. You can list me as a teacher. It's okay. Um, and Novia's from North Carolina. It's okay if it's your first time on Zoom. Just know that you can always, I think, change your name if you want to. It's all good. We're gonna have fun. We've got Leslie from Cameron Park, California. All right, welcome, welcome. Um, so I guess there's two ways that you can talk to me, the chat and the Q&A. But the Q&A is one that it's a lot easier for me to read. So if you can use the Q&A, you can talk to me through there. That's where you can ask questions. Yeah, I like to do that in the beginning just so that we could get to know each other just a little bit. And also I like seeing where everyone's coming in from. And it's an honor to have you here, Joshua. I really love the community here with everyone. Um, so, uh, Perry, you know what? I'll get to that question later. I'm going to leave it up here. We're going to talk about working on set, and I'll somehow answer your question. I'll figure that out. It's a good question. That's a big question. So I'm going to start off with smaller stuff first. All right. So I just want to see everyone here, make sure everyone. Okay, great. So, if this is your first time, welcome. If you've been here before, um, welcome back. So, here's my deal, just so you know about myself. I'm an actor. Um, uh, I originally studied acting. First, I studied architecture because I that would be good for me. Found out I was really good at it, but I did not like being alone in the studio all the time. So then I went to audition for a bunch of colleges to go to college for acting. I went to Marymount Manhattan College, loved it, studied theater there. I did a lot of theater outside of when I got out of college, but a lot of young people all auditioning at the same time. So I felt very lost. So I didn't really start up my career until I was right around 30. My 20s, I did a lot of stuff, but I didn't really take it seriously. So, uh, so that being said, I like to say that to let you know that I had schooling and training and everything. And I didn't always pursue it as much as I could have. And then that to tell you that I did start auditioning and really pursuing it more when I was in my 30s. And then I've been doing it pretty consistently for the past 13 years. So there's no time that you have to be doing it. There's no rule that says you have to have gone to school for it because I realize I'm very happy that I had the training I had, but now I have so many experiences and so much training outside of college and theater, training that is really important to know that your life experiences are actually really important and who you are as a person is the most important when you're dealing with acting and modeling. Some of you are probably here just for modeling. That's okay. It's very similar what we're dealing with today with acting on set. Modeling is really just acting without dialogue, without talking, or without video. They will take video sometimes of modeling, but it's really about like the still picture. But it's very similar in what you do and how you work. And then I now, for the past almost 20 years, I've been working at a photography studio for a headshot photographer in Brooklyn, Rex Lot Photography. And that has helped me because then I'm on the other side of the camera and I have met so many people. Rex Lot used to be the photographer for 99 when 99 was um, like it had an office back in the day before the pandemic. Everything was different. So back then they didn't have the Zoom, like Zoom wasn't a thing. So they didn't really have the option to even offer all of these courses, like this, which I think I'm really happy you all get to do. Um, and then back then all the castings were, in person. So I've been working with 99 through photography for a long time. And what I have loved is knowing so many people who have wanted to be a part of the industry and they found a way through 99 and they have succeeded and found joy and money. They've gotten paid and have a career now. Some people, they don't want it to be their whole life. Some, they just want to do it part-time and have fun with it. So there's no rule that you have to be all in or whatever. You can do it a few times a year if it makes you happy and still get paid. And maybe it'll help you for vacations and stuff, extra money. Or maybe it's something that you really want to do and now you're going to learn how to do it and focus on it. And so just know that there's no prerequisite. There's no like necessary requirement for being in the industry. So what I like to do with my workshops is really try to explain everything to help you understand because I know that when I don't know what's going on, I get really nervous. And sometimes it scares me, and sometimes that fear of not knowing what's going on will cause me not to try. So hopefully, by me talking today about what goes on when you work on a set, will help you feel a little more confident and comfortable, and you will know before you audition for something that when you do book it, that when you get there, you'll know a little bit more about how it goes. Okay, so that's kind of my shtick and my shtick, my spiel. Um, That's wonderful, Joshua. I love that. It's always good to try to do whatever you can to make your life better. And I always say, like, follow your bliss, follow like what makes you happy. So, okay. So, working on set. So I know that with 99, they have a lot of castings and things like that that you can submit for. And then also people there's nothing in within 99 that says that you can't work with like an agent and that you can't submit on your own and you can't do all these things. They're really just kind of here to help you find your way, which I think is great. So, however, you are able to do a casting or an audition, um, then if you're chosen to be part of the production, if you're cast, from that point forward, it's more of like the business of it. So once you audition or do a casting, sometimes it's called a casting for print when you do like modeling. And when I say modeling, there's like people talk about high fashion modeling and everyone thinks about Vogue and Devil Wears Prada. That is a very specific niche thing. It's the kind of like, they're all like, it's a thing. The majority of people who are models are actually print models, or they do modeling for conventions and things like that. They're like in person, they're like a spokesmodel. So the vast majority of people who work in the industry as a model actually do get paid for ad campaigns for different types of things, all different type of things. Whenever time you see like a photograph that is an ad either on social or it used to be in magazines, but now it's like on the computer when you're scrolling, that picture, someone was hired as a model to do it. And it's not just like what you think of as a supermodel. It's actually like just people being in a situation that they want to show this exists, these people exist, and they want you to buy whatever they're buying, advertisement. So that is to explain that a lot of that is very similar to what you do when you have an audition. So I did a casting today, just for an example. It was for a pharmaceutical company. They needed to have me, it's a print job, but they have you do a little bit of video, kind of like you would for maybe a TV or a commercial. And just so they can see how you are and how you move and how you smile and behave. And then they have you take a couple of photos of yourself and you send it in. So I did that today. Um, but I'm an actor who also does that. So let's just know that you can do a lot of different things. Once you get through the process of auditioning or going to a casting, and then you are cast, you will probably have some conversations with a production team. So in the world of TV and film, there's usually a production company, and they're the ones who are they hire everyone. They hire all of the director. They hire all the people who do all of the costuming and the sound and the lights, and they create the sets. So they are in charge of making the process of the production happen. Okay. Whether it's TV, film, commercial, print, there's a production company that's in charge of it. So those people who are in charge of that production, there'll be someone who will reach out to you, usually through email. Sometimes they call. And then the first kind of process is to make sure that you are, available for the dates that they need. Always be honest. Don't say you are available when you're not, because that's just mess. If they want you, then they're really hoping that you can work. So just be honest. Just say, I'm not available for this one day. And if they really want you, they'll move the dates. It's happened. I've seen it before. And then once you are in contact with them, they'll let you know about where the shoot is going to be, if you need to do a wardrobe fitting beforehand, or if you're going to do it when you go to the shoot. So a wardrobe fitting is where you get to go and meet the wardrobe people, the costuming people. For the most part, the vast majority of it, it's going to be wearing clothes that they bought at Marshall's or Filene's Basement, if that still exists. It doesn't. Someplace like that. They go to all of those places. Sometimes if it's for something that's set back in like the 70s or earlier, they find things at thrift stores. Um, and then there's the very small percentage of them that they create the costumes for you because it's a sci-fi show or it's a horror show or you're wearing crazy prosthetics and all that kind of stuff. Oftentimes they will use clothing that already exists. And what they do is when you go to your fitting, you will tell them ahead of time your sizes. Be honest with your sizes because all of you are valid and valuable, whatever your size is. That's the best part about this world we're living right now because everyone is represented in so many different ways across television, film, commercial. So just be honest about it. Like, make sure that you have the correct measurements because if they cast you, they're gonna grab clothes that fit you so that they can have you try it on. Okay. And so then you will go in wherever they have you go. And there's usually they'll have you try on a bunch of different options. And then they take pictures of all of it so that people in production can make decisions about what you're going to wear. You don't usually choose. If you're going to be doing background work, which is great, I have to say. The very first things I did with TV and film was background work. And so, there's tons of things all over the place where background excuse me, is a term used for all of the people who make up the space and the reality of a video, but they're not the ones that are the main characters. Sometimes you can be a background character that actually is like important and needed, but that's great. You're just like the background who is seen the most, But your job is to be there and just to be a person in the space. And oftentimes, when it's something that's set in current times, they'll have you bring your own clothes. So you just bring options. You don't bring too much because they always say to bring a bunch, but then they don't use it and you're lugging around a big old suitcase. So bring what they say, but don't bring too much. And if it's something like the Gilded Age, they obviously don't expect you to be bringing in clothing from 1901. So you're going to go in and they're going to have costumes that they're going to fit you for. So that's a really fun day. Actually, I always enjoy that day because I like the costumers. They're cool people. They're there before and then during, but they're not really like the ones that they're on set to make sure you look good. Sometimes they also have you meet with hair and makeup beforehand, especially if it's a period piece, and they have to make sure that your hair, if they're going to fit you for a wig, because so many people in older, like a period piece, we don't have hair that fits that style. So they're going to probably fit you with a wig. So that can happen too. So those are some of the people that are going to talk to you first. And then you're going to get something called a call sheet, or maybe you won't get it till the day that you show up, but a call sheet will have all of the information of all of the things that are going to happen that day, specifically that day, because sometimes it's a commercial and there's only one day. but then sometimes it's a TV show where that episode is filming over 10 days. And so for that, there'll be separate days, all the different call sheets. And a call sheet shows your call time. Like that's, I think, mostly why it's called a call sheet, so that it shows you breaking down all of the times that everyone should arrive on set. If you live in a city, like an urban area, they often will have they often shoot outside of a city because they need to like be in a house. And in New York City or in Chicago, there's not a lot of houses, you know, it's more like it's buildings. And so they will have a location that you'll be going to. You can self-report if you drive. That's great. But for all the people who don't have that, like I don't have a car in the city. So what you do is you go to where there is a shuttle. So they'll make sure that you know where the shuttle pickup is and that you go and you're going to be there probably with all the crew and the other performers who are going to be there that day. Um, and for if they need to get you there, you know, they need to get a lot of people to a lot of places. And then also, if they want you to be in something and you don't live in that city and they cast you, um, if as long as it's, I think, under a certain amount of miles of flight, they actually will just pay for your flight. Like they hire people in New York to go to Canada. They hire people in Toronto. They hire people from Toronto to come to Philadelphia. You know, they'll do that because they don't have to do a business class. Once you're past a certain mileage, like how many miles you're on, they have to like do business class for you. So they don't always do that for the bigger roles. Or for the smaller roles, they'll do that for like the big parts. But they often will do that. And I know people who have done this. So that's very cool. Um, so all of those details will be kind of hammered out first, and then on your call sheet, it'll tell you where you'll meet the bus or the van or where you will self-report. And then it'll have your time for when you should arrive. And it literally lists all of the names of the people who are performing that day. If you are one of the people who are principal performer and you have a line, or even if you don't have a line, you are called a principal if you are the main character. If it's a commercial where there's no talking and you're still the only person in it, you're the principal. Background, they don't always list everyone's name on the call sheet because sometimes there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of background characters. But you may get a call sheet if you're there just so you can see all the times and everything and where everyone is going to be and who you need to talk to. So I'm going to drink some water because I'm talking real fast. I'm sorry if I'm talking real too fast, but I want to get all of this in because there's a lot of information. Um, so on the call sheet, it'll list all the different people. So there's many different departments that work on a production. On a production, first of all, you have, like I said, the production company. So that includes the executive producer. They may not show up. Like if you watch Law and Order, you know that it's a Dick Wolf production. He's the executive producer. He created the show. And sometimes he shows up. I think he came to the day that I was there for FBI Most Wanted. I'm pretty sure I met him. If not, I met another one of the executive producers. But they're not always there. You know, they got other stuff to do. They're in charge of everything. But there will be the line producer, who is the person who's there to make sure that all the things happen that day on time. And then there's production assistants, and the production assistants are also known as PAs. And the PAs are there to do anything that needs to be done. They are the connective tissue between all of it. So the production assistants, if you are working background, there'll be a few production assistants that are assigned to all of you, and they will make sure, usually when you're doing background, there's numbers, you know, of like, you know, all the different people. So that just that number is important because that's how you get paid. You know, you got to make sure that when you sign your sheet, that the number is with your name. And then they're going to be there and telling you what to do. Like a lot of it is sitting around, honestly. Like they have to get everything ready, all the people in costume. So bring a book, bring a puzzle. Oh, maybe not a puzzle. Bring Sudoku, bring knit. I see people knit all the time. Bring things for yourself to do that you enjoy doing because a lot of it is sitting around and then you work. but you just have to be patient and just know that there's a lot going on. And then there are production assistants that are assigned to the different performers who are principal roles, who have lines. And so they are going to be showing you where to go. If you do have a principal role, and they will be giving you, if it's on location and it's not at a studio or on like a set, then they will be giving you a space to where your clothing will be, and it's your trailer. If you are listed high on that sheet and you are the star of the movie or a guest star for the TV show or like the main person for the commercial, you'll have a larger trailer. But still, it's a good size. It's enough room to like lay down if you want to, take a nap. You can sit, it has space for you to eat and do your stuff. And when you usually arrive, it's the morning. There will be usually some sort of breakfast. So either you go up and you order it if you're background, and if you are a principal performer, they don't want you to walk around too much because they need you, they need to know where you are at all times so they can get to you for if they need to film right now. So you'll stay, they'll go get your food. And then that's usually breakfast. Breakfast is very much like order what you want. You can usually get different things, or they have a big buffet and everyone gets fed. And then so that's all the like the producers are kind of part of that. And then there's the department of directors. There's the actual director. They're the person who is in charge of all of the artistic elements of it, including the performances of the actors. But they're also there to make sure that the people who are doing the lighting are doing what they're doing, to make sure that the costume looks good. They're in charge of really the artistic vision of it. And then they have assistant directors. And then the assistant directors are sometimes the ones that actually calling the shots. Like the first assistant director is often the ones that are, saying all the lines out that things are happening, like we're going to break, or, everyone quiet on set, or, we're going to be rolling soon. So they're very much like hands-on. And then there's the second AD, and I think their job is to do the call sheet. So to do all that stuff all day. So there's many different people within the directing department. And then you have the photography department, all the cinematographers or photographers if it's for still, if it's for still photography. So there's usually the director of photography, also called a cinematographer, but it's called a DP on usually the call sheet. And they're the person that is in charge of what it looks like through that camera, through that lens. So they're in charge of making sure that all the people who are under them in the camera department are doing what they need to do. They work very closely with the director to make sure that the vision that the director has is then gone through the image that they want to see. And so you'll be seeing tons of people who are camera operators. There are people who their job sometimes is literally just to take the digital card and take it and bring it, make sure that it's good. Like there's people that just do that to like move the information from one place to another on an SD card or whatever those cards are called. And then you have people who are they're like the camera operators that they move around with you, it's like they have like it's like a rig on them where and that's very heavy. So be very nice to them because they are doing a lot of work and it's physical, and just, be cool with them because they are going to be, if it's one of those shots where they're following you around, then they're the ones that are going to be, working the most. And then there's the people who set up the cameras and everything. So that department. There's the lighting department. The lighting department includes the best boy and then all the gaffers, which is the terms for the electricians who are making sure that all of the light that needs to go someplace is then done in a way that gives the cinematographer what they want, which is it's so funny when you watch stuff on TV, you're thinking like, oh, that looks so natural and so real. And then you work on set and you're like, that was all fake. They made that light happen. They made it. So that it's intense to kind of see that. There's so much that goes into it. Like if you have to turn off a light, they're never just going to rely on you turning off the light, because that light isn't actually on. It's another light that's. And then if you go that, there's someone else there to make sure that that happens. So that is that department. They are constantly working because they got to make sure that everything is, first of all, well lit, but then that it's safe. gaffer's tape. It's a tape that you use to keep everything kind of down. Then you move on to costume and wardrobe. There usually be people on set. There's the costume designer, the person who's in charge of all of the looks. And then there's all the people that are under them that are there to help you. And usually they're on set to make sure everything looks good. They will have your costumes if you need to change. They'll make sure that you look the way you look, and they'll come up and move your clothing around and make sure it looks just right. Just get ready to be just kind of dressed. It's very strange to be dressed as an adult. We're used to it as kids. But if you're very wealthy and you have like servants, then you're used to it. So I guess that's something. Um, and then you have hair and makeup, and there's usually two departments. Sometimes it's the same person if it's a small budget, but those two departments are there to make sure that the hair and wigs that they have everyone styled in a certain way, and that the makeup also. You're going to see those people first in the morning after you have breakfast. They're the ones that you sit with first, and they do your hair and makeup for the day, and then they're on set to make sure that it looks the way that um, that you want to have continuity, which is really just making sure that if you're in a scene and your makeup doesn't change completely from one shot to the next. So they're there to make sure everything looks good. You have the people who are in charge of the script, the scripty. They are the ones that are making sure that everything is a continuity. The term continuity, and I'll read you the description of it in just a little bit, is really just to make sure that when you're shooting, there's no jarring things that happen where if someone says a line and then they mess it up, they have to fix that so that they can do that. And then you want to make sure that um, uh, if they tell you to fix that line because you messed it up, you do it. You just be like, okay, yeah, we'll go back and we'll fix that. And then there's always so much like, oh, and then you have set design. So there's a few different things. There's the people who do the set design, they like make everything look like it's real. When they get these places, they're pretty much emptied out of all the things that are there. And then they have to create an entire world of lived in or not lived in experiences for these people to be in. So it's not just a white box, or a gray box. So those people are the ones, sometimes they build sets if it's in a studio. Sometimes they are just there to like make everything be what is, including like the chairs and things you sit in. That is different than props. Props are anything that's within the same, I think, department, but props are the things that you actually interact with and you use. Um, for example, if you're drinking from a coffee mug, that is part of the props department, and it's not. There could be other coffee mugs around, but the ones that are sitting around that no one touches are part of the art department and the design, set design, and then the ones that you actually touch are part of the props. Don't touch anyone else's props. They're important that they stay exactly the same throughout so that no one, don't touch anyone else's props. And then usually within props, there's also people there in case there's some sort of, like I had to be tied up for FBI Most Wanted. So there were people there to make sure that it looked real, but also that I wasn't in pain, like being tied up. So that was cool because they were very, cool about that. And then if there's any firearms or weapons, they will go through that with you. Usually they are either dummy weapons like guns or things where it looks exactly like it, but it's made out of like rubber. So it's heavy like it looks like it, but there's not even a mechanism inside for it to work. And then there are some that are real, but then they have nothing in them. And they will literally hold it up to you and show you. You can look through. There's nothing here. And it's good that those people are there because they're professionals and you want them to be there because we all know that in the not too far past, there were accidents on sets and people weren't doing what they should have been doing. But usually that is not the case. That is very much not the case. So, and oftentimes in some things like you'll if you're doing an action thing, there are so many people there that are the stunt coordinators and the stunt performers, and they are awesome. They're amazing because they know how to do all these things and have no one get hurt. And have all of these crazy things that we watch with action and adventure and sci-fi and horror. Horror, I mean, people are being killed literally in front of you. Like heads are chopped off and all of these awful things are happening in horror movies. But none of that is real. Those will be people that are usually part of both costuming and stunt because they have to usually do prosthetics, like if there's a head rolling around. So sometimes they work together, but they're still all part of different departments. And if you do anything that has prosthetics, that's part of makeup, but sometimes that's a separate division because that takes a lot longer. If you're gonna play the recent Frankenstein with Jacob Elordi playing Frankenstein on Netflix, which if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I love that story, but I think that he did such a good job. That look took a long time for him to be in. So that's kind of all of the people. There's more. I'm sure there's more that you're going to deal with, but just know that there's so much going on that it could feel overwhelming. So I'm telling you now that all those people are going to be there usually on a mid-budget to big budget production. That's not to scare you. That's to say it's happening. That's there. So if you know that going in, then you can feel more confident knowing that, oh, don't touch other people's props. Someone's going to make sure my costume looks good. I don't have to worry about that. And then just know that there's so much that other people are worrying about. All you need to worry about then is your performance and like being there, being part of the production. Okay. And like following the directions of either the assistant director who's in charge of background. They're going to be there to make sure everyone does what needs to happen. And then there's also the director if you're dealing with the principal performers because they need to make sure that all the emotional things are happening. There's intimacy coordinators for scenes that are sexual in nature. There are people there, yeah, for that as well, just to make sure everyone's comfortable and everyone on set is feels like they have, power. I don't know. This is a good question. Freya, I was in awe with my first film. There were so many moving parts. Thanks, Sean, for the terminology. I understand being on set much better. Oh, good. I'm glad that helps a little bit because, right, like there's so much going on, Freya. And so if you know a little bit about what's going on, I'm going to go through a list and a little bit about some things that will be said on set and things that you should know. Um, and thank you for enjoying the classes. And Kai, how about scenes where people are drowned face down? Do they still use rag dolls? Can a person act like that so many times, or is that a one-time take because of the real risk? I'm fairly certain that they will film the beginning of the drowning face down. They'll do the thing is with cinematography, you can edit, you can cut, you can go, you can do this. So anything that you think is a long scene of someone like submerged in water, really, it's not that long because it's probably being cut into many different pieces. A continuous shot is something that goes and you never change point of view. So a continuous shot is a very long thing, and it's usually used for tension because a continuous shot means that um, there's no change in point of view, and so like you're just looking this way, and so it's actually like brings out a certain amount of tension. That's just a technical thing that cinematographers and directors know. One of the most famous ones is in the very first part of the original Halloween movie with a little boy, Michael Myers, putting on the mask and going up the stairs and then stabbing. That is a continuous shot. They were able to actually make it's a continuous shot. They did cut once, and it was only where he put on and off the mask because in that one moment it goes black, and right there they were able to put two of them together because neither of them were perfect. But that was in its way a continuous shot. They shot all of it and they just did that one moment where they were able to do that and it went to black for 1 second. So a continuous shot is very difficult to do. And there will be people there to make sure that people are safe, dealing with water especially. So I don't know the answer about all the productions now, but that is something that to think about. Um, Good question, Perry. I'll get to that one in a little bit. Yeah, Julia, even if you're part of a small production it is fun to see how everything works, even on a small set, because all of it has to work together. And if people are listening and doing their job, then it works really well. If people are messing around and joking around in production, then it doesn't go well. Um, mm, so Tanya, Tanya's asking a question about there's a lot of productions that are non-union. You're not allowed to do it as a union member. What do you recommend to do? Um, there is something that you can do if you're part of the union. At least in the US, they have something called FICOR. Um, and that's if you are not making enough money with union jobs, you can fill out a form or you can do non-union jobs. It used to be looked down upon a lot more, but I think everyone understands with the financial reality that the world is in with the calamities we've had in the past several years between I could just list them all off, but the pandemic was definitely a big one. So FICOR is a term in the US. I don't know what that is with ACTRA, but look that up. It is a way for I know people. I love being part of a union. I believe in it. I really think it's great because I I'm not a creator myself. Like I don't have the drive to like make something myself the way that so many people do. It's not the way my brain works, but I love being part of it. So I love being part of the union because I get to see how everyone is taken care of. So I like that part. But also, I'm also not going to judge, and I don't think people should judge people who need to work to make money. And so, in that regards, I think that that's a FICOR is a thing that people can do. And well, thank you for saying that, Tanya. I'm glad you think that this is good. I'm going to go through right now and read um, a few just things so you can understand. I have film position. I told you all the positions. Okay, I'm going to explain continuity. So continuity, when you film things, like I said, there's very rarely are there like continuous shots. So they arrange shots in a film. Editors arrange them to create the impression that that time is interrupted and that the space that you're watching is like continuous. Okay. So there's a script supervisor, often called scripty, and their job is to make sure that continuity is maintained, you know? The actors wearing the same clothes, the same jewelry, same hairstyle, candles or cigarettes are burned or lit in a way that you feel that all the same. Um, so that is just, something that you want to know that they're going to try to maintain continuity. But one of the ways to do that, so just so you know, it's like acting continuity is like if you need to do the same thing on the same line in different shots because there are different shots. So um, let me look at basic filters. Okay, so I'm gonna try to give you an understanding of different shots. Um, Okay. So, what makes up usually a scene of a thing? And what's so great is like you can do whatever you want with this. There's no rule. But like think about TV shows and like very like, procedurals, which is like Law and Order or Grey's Anatomy. They're kind of basic. You're not watching anything cutting edge. They're not doing anything with the camera that makes you think, oh, this is so avant-garde. Um, so there's something called an establishing shot, and it's at the beginning of the scene, and it shows the locale, and it's where it is set. So it kind of shows everything. It may not even show all the characters. It may just show the outside. So it's just may just show like what you're like think about like the Golden Girls house. That's like an establishing shot. But then like there's other kinds of establishing shots where people are in it, and then they'll just have like the wide, view of it. It's just showing where we're going to be for the scene. Then there is a close-up. It's that means that the actor is going to be close up in the screen. It's just mostly the face that is the in the screen. And then if ever they're doing something, if the shot is not stationary, they'll use it's a tracking shot on a dolly. So they put tracks down so that the camera can roll smoothly and kind of have like a pan across. It's not a pan. A pan is like when you like that, but this is like actually a tracking. It moves like that. Um, yeah, it's very cool to watch. And then sometimes a steady cam operator will be doing that as well, but it's better for a shot that's very long and you want it to go sideways if they use a dolly. You'll see that on set. Extreme close-up is like pretty much just this, just the eyes and the mouth. Um, so if then there'll be a scene where they'll do a long shot. It's like a wide shot. It's not an establishing shot. That shows like the entire everything. This is like head to foot, like all the characters in the scene. So and then there's the master shot. That's like the view of everything that you want to see. It's like the entire shot from beginning to end. It's a master shot. You will do that. So you'll film the master shot, and that one is the entire thing. So we can see what is going on in the entire scene. You'll film the entire scene that way, beginning to end. And then you'll do all the different angles. So whoever is talking, usually they'll change the camera around to get their angle. Oftentimes it's two, but then sometimes there's more than one angle, maybe there's three. And so they will set up the master shot or the wide shot. They'll film that. That'll be from one side. And then after that, they have you take a break because they're gonna move everything, change the lighting to go in that direction so that they just get those performers. And they'll do the entire scene again. That's why you have to do the same thing on the same line because you're going to be shot that way. And then actors are going to take a break. And then they're going to change everything around and they're going to shoot it that way so that these actors, you get their close-ups and they're over the shoulders. And so you do at least three usually different kinds of shots, maybe even more if they're doing other kinds of things like pans or tracking shots where people are walking. So when you're on set and you're there and you're performing, yes, give your all in every moment of performance and acting. But if they're behind you and you're just getting the back of your head and you're talking to someone, you don't need to so much cry then. If it's a crying scene, like then you need to like really cry when it's on you, you know? So just know that like you don't have to be like 100% of the time. You have to be there and perform and be part of it and be part of everything. But like when it's not on you, you're mostly there to help the other actors get to 100% because the camera's on them. So you're going to do all these different shots, okay? And it's really great that you know that ahead of time because if you show up and you think you're just doing it one time, that's not how it goes. When you're cast in a sitcom that's multi-camera, like old school sitcom, like just like I Love Lucy, Cheers, Friends, Seinfeld, Big Bang Theory, those are shot on a stage, and those have three cameras at least that are shooting, one to get that angle, one to get that angle, one to get straight on, and they film at the same time live so that they can cut and edit from those. And then you only ever see one side of the set. But if you're doing anything else, film, commercial, or TV that is not multi-camera, any kind of TV really, that is shot like a film where you do all the different angles and sets. Swimming pool scenes, how does that work? I don't know if you have to sign a waiver, Julia. If it's a TV show overcompensating, um, I'm pretty sure there'll be someone who is on set and making sure that everyone is safe. Um, uh, Very cool, Joshua. Yeah, part-time acting is fantastic. If like you want to just do background and do some things here and there and maybe try to do commercials and stuff like that and get your parts where you have lines, that's wonderful. That's why I said it's kind of great. Like there's so much out there that you don't have to be like, I need to do this all the time. Um, so Rob, you watched a movie where they messed up on continuity. 1 second, the actor's shirt had no sweat. And then the next second, same scene, his shirt was sweaty. That will probably, now you all know it's going to drive you crazy. Because if you see it, it means that they did not, they probably they means that they did not get a good shot of when it needed to look like that. And someone didn't, they messed up. Sometimes they have to use that shot because um, all the other shots were kind of like, not great. Um, Rhonda, I don't know the details about average time for anything like this. There's no, I don't know if you're talking about 9-9 about like working. I am not one of the people who work with the talent to uh, procure jobs. I'm here just to help you understand it a little bit. So you may want to ask someone at 9-9. You could ask Justin. He's someone who's really kind and very helpful. Um, Scenes where someone is set on fire. They do shoot usually multiple angles of people set on fire. Things like that. Things where you have to get it in 1 or 2 shots, they're going to shoot it from multiple angles. They're going to do many shots at the same time because they have to get it. But that's those specific shots where they have to get it, you know? So just know, like there's rules that break. Um, doo-doo-doo. Well, I know some people are telling me that they have to go, and that Guy, it's okay that um, uh, that you, oops, it's okay that you were late because this will be recorded. You'll be able to go back and watch it later. Because I know that it's tough with Central and uh, but it's okay. Later you'll be able to watch this. You can watch the end of this now, and then you can watch it later. Um, uh, so good to hear, Denise, that you are doing all of this. Well, I think a lot of people have to go. I'm realizing now. So it's almost the end of the day. It's Saturday. So if you have a question, ask me right now. I'm going to try to answer this. I know if the ones that are off topic, I'm probably not going to answer in too much detail because I am here to talk about this. But make myself the character I need to play. Um, Perry, the question about creating a character purpose, that is something I would recommend taking an acting class that is in person or through Zoom even, where they can give you notes and they can help you work on that, because that is something that I can't do for you right now because I can't see you and I can't hear you. And I can't coach someone that I can't see or hear. So, the way that you create a character purpose and make myself the character you need to play is that you think about it and just think, how would I behave in this situation? And that is probably going to be the best way to do it, because if you put on a character, it's easy to tell that it's not real. You're going to try to be as real as possible. Pictures for comp cards. If you don't have anyone to take those and you can't afford them, just get some very simple uh, uh, shots of you, simple background with framing that is usually, you can get a couple different ones, one that's like chest and then one that's full length, so they have it. But just Just don't worry about it. You can have someone take some photos of you in front of a simple background. Perry, I do not know how to answer this about the supernatural and disillusion. I don't. That's like I said, you put yourself in the situation. If I were to be in the situation, how would I behave? And then that'll help you start. Um, you're welcome, Leslie. You're welcome. Um, well, I hope you have a great weekend too, Tanya. You're welcome, Leslie. I'm glad you had a good, that you thought it was valuable. So, yeah, main thing you want to know is that you're just a part of a much larger, um, production and that your part is important, but it's not important than anyone else's. And so when you show up, um, you want to make sure, yeah, everyone starts off with their first thing, you know? Everyone has their first thing they've done. So your first thing will be just like everyone else's first thing. It'll be the first time you do something, and hopefully now you know a little bit more so that when you show up, you can feel a little bit more confident. But you're still going to learn so much every time you work. Um, you're welcome, Steve. It's good to spend time with you too. Um, and you're welcome, Marilyn. And I'm glad you thought it was informative. So that being said, I hope everyone has a great weekend. We've reached the end of our hour together. Um, people do get paid for pretending to be dead. Yes, good. All right. Uh, everyone enjoy your life. That sounds awful. Everyone, just try to have fun. Because if you can have a fun in your life and try to make all of the times in your life when you're not acting a little bit more enjoyable, then when you go to the acting, it'll make it easier. Okay? Try to make all the things that you love in your life a bigger part of it, because then when you get to the acting, it'll make it easier. Okay? You're welcome, Devin. I hope you have a good weekend too. You're welcome, Rob. Um, always smile. You're welcome, Jason. Oh, and I appreciate you saying that. I hope to see you again too. You have a good weekend, Perry. Ashley, I'm glad you thought it was a great lesson. I hope you have a great day too. Um, you're welcome, Ryan. Let me go down here. Oh, Isha, it's okay. This will be in a recording that you can click on later. You're welcome, Robert. Thanks for sharing your time with me. So Isha, it's about to end, but you can always watch it later, okay? So everyone have a great weekend. You're welcome, Joshua. I hope everyone enjoys the beautiful weather if it's nice where you are. It is in New York, and I think it is in a lot of places. And just keep it up because I feel like all you got to do is just try something new with 99 every day. Okay? All right. Bye, everyone.